Chapter 1: The World of Innovative Management, Part 2. The Evolution of Management Thinking. Some organizations operate with little or no hierarchy, and others have a more hierarchical structure. Managers are always on the lookout for new approaches, tools, and techniques in order to be used in the way they manage their companies. Today's workplace is very much different from what it was 50 years ago. However, historical concepts form the backbone of management education. Some modern practices have actually been around for a long time. The historical struggle. Studying history is a way to achieve strategic thinking, see the big picture, and improve conceptual skills. Management practices and perspectives vary in response to social, political, and economic changes in the larger society. Management perspectives have changed over time, from the classical perspective of thinking only of production of goods in the later part of the 1800s to looking at the humanistic perspective in the early 1900s, wherein the human component of production is given importance and not just the production of goods. Systems thinking was developed in the 1950s. Contingency view then emerged in the 1960s, wherein the different scenarios are taken into account and management styles can adjust accordingly. Total quality management was given emphasis in the late 1970s and early 80s. The technology-driven workplace, which is attributed to development of more efficient computers and technological advancements, emerged in the 1900s, have dramatically changed management styles. Starting the year 2000 up to the present, the internet and social media gave rise to the so-called people-driven workplace, or the bossless working environment, wherein people are enabled and empowered to function on their own, giving rise to more productivity and efficiency. Management perspectives over time. So the earliest focus of management, the classical perspective, was well over a century ago, was on the things of production. By the 1920s and 1930s, the needs of and positive treatment of employees were discovered as another path to efficiency and profit. Since then, there has been a struggle to balance the things of production versus the humanity of production. The tension between historical forces in management thinking. Focus on things of production. Management focus is on production efficiency via organization design and workflow systems and control. In contrast to the focus on humanity of production, management focus is on meeting human needs for greater motivation and engagement to increase effectiveness. These two perspectives often result in conflict on which aspect should be given more importance, the production of goods or the human aspect of production. The classical perspectives include scientific management, bureaucratic organizations, and administrative principles. According to scientific management, efficiency and labor productivity can be improved through scientific methods. This was pioneered by Frederick Winslow Taylor, who proposed that workers could be retooled like machines. In other words, workers can be trained to do repetitive tasks like robots. That's according to the scientific method. Management decisions would be based on precise procedures based on study. Henry Gantt developed the Gantt chart to measure and plan work. Gantt chart is a visual view of tasks scheduled over a specific time, and this is a tool used today by project managers. The Gilberts pioneered time and motion studies to promote efficiency. Time and motion studies is an analysis of the time spent in going through the different motions of a job or a series of jobs. These are the characteristics of scientific management. General approach: develop standard method for performing each job. They selected workers with appropriate abilities for each job, trained the workers in standard methods, supported workers by planning their work and eliminating interruptions, and provided wage incentives to workers for increased output. Focused on methods of more efficiency in order to increase production of goods. Contributions demonstrated the importance of compensation for performance, meaning the more a worker produces, the more compensation he receives. Initiated the careful study of tasks and jobs and demonstrated the importance of personal selection and training, meaning finding the right people with the right skills to produce the greatest possible number of goods. Criticisms, however, of this management style were the fact that they did not regard the needs of the workers but mainly focused only on production. They did not appreciate the social context of work and higher needs of workers, did not acknowledge variance among individuals. Therefore, work was repetitive, tended to regard workers as uninformed and ignored their ideas and suggestions because they were trained to work like robots. Bureaucratic organizations. Most of the concepts of bureaucratic organizations was proposed by Max Weber. He envisioned that organizations would be managed on an impersonal, rational basis. Organization depends on rules and records. Rules and records are the basis upon which organizations depend on. Managers use power instead of personality to delegate workers, and workers are given no choice but to follow. The term bureaucracy has taken on a negative meaning in today's organizations, but the value of bureaucratic principles is still evident in many organizations. These are the characteristics of Weberian bureaucracy: that there should be division of labor with clear definitions of authority and responsibility. Positions are organized in a hierarchy of authority. Then managers subject to rules and procedures that will ensure reliable, predictable behavior. Management separate from the ownership of the organization. Administrative acts and decisions recorded in writing, and personnel selected and promoted based on technical qualifications. Weber believed that an organization based on rational authority would be more efficient and adaptable to change because continuity is related to formal structure and positions rather than to a particular person who may leave the company or may die. The administrative principle approach is a subfield of the classical perspectives that focuses on the total organization rather than the individual worker. Henry Fayol was a major contributor to the administrative principles approach. He outlined 14 general principles of management. Many are still being used today, including the following: unity of command, meaning each subordinate receives orders from one and only one superior. Division of work. Managerial work and technical work are amenable to specialization to produce more and better work with the same amount of effort. Unity of direction, meaning similar activities in an organization should be grouped together under one manager. Scalar chain is a chain of authority which extends from the top to the bottom of the organization and should include every employee. Fayol also identified 5 functions of management, which are planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and controlling. He believes that these functions underlie much of the general approach to today's management theory. Management science. This is also referred to as quantitative perspective. This uses mathematics, statistics, and other quantitative techniques to aid management decision-making and problem-solving. Let the numbers speak is the essence of the quantitative perspective, enhanced by evolution of the computer. Management science has 3 subsets: operations research, which consists of mathematical model building and other applications of quantitative techniques. Quants are financial managers who base their decisions on complex quantitative analysis. The operations management focuses on the physical production of goods and services. Information technology focuses on technology and software to aid managers. The firm is, after all, composed of humans, and they are the most important assets of the organization. Without humans, how will all the operations be possible at all? This is the humanistic perspective, which emphasizes the importance of understanding human behaviors, needs, and attitudes in the workplace, as well as social interactions and group processes. The three primary subfields are the human relations movement, human resources perspective, and the behavioral sciences approach. The proponents of the humanistic perspectives were Mary Parker Fourier and Chester Barnard. Fourier stressed the importance of people rather than engineering techniques. Barnard described the informal organization and the acceptance theory of authority. Human relations movement was based on the idea that truly effective control comes from within the individual rather than from strict authoritarian control. A series of studies known as the Hawthorne studies contributed a lot to support this research. Interpretations of the studies agreed on one point: money was not the cause of the increased output. It was believed that the factors that best explained the increased output was human relations, and that employees performed better when managers treated them positively. Human resources perspectives. These maintained an interest in worker participation and considerate leadership, but shifted the emphasis to considering the daily tasks that people perform. The well-known Maslow's hierarchy of needs started with physiological needs and progressed to safety, belongingness, esteem, and finally self-actualization. These needs must be understood by management, and the work environment must provide for the needs of the workers. MacGregor formulated Theory X and Theory Y. Theory X and Theory Y was formulated by Douglas MacGregor. Please refer to the video that explains more on this theory at the videos portion of this chapter. Behavioral sciences approach. This uses scientific methods and draws from sociology, psychology, anthropology, economics, and other disciplines to develop theories about human behavior and interaction in an organizational setting. One specific set of management techniques based in the behavioral sciences approach is the organization development. Other strategies based on behavioral science include matrix organizations, self-managed teams, corporate culture, management by wandering around. We go now to more recent trends. One is the systems thinking, the ability to see the distinct elements of a situation as well as the complexities. A system is a set of interrelated parts that function as a whole to achieve a common purpose. Subsystems are parts of the system that are all interconnected. Synergy means the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. An important element of systems thinking is to discern the circles of causality. Systems thinking and circles of causality. Take a look at the illustration. Everything is interrelated and that one thing leads to another. The events on the left circle are caused by the initial decisions to increase advertising, which then adds to the advertising budget to promote its products. The result is increased sales, which increase profit and provide money to further increase the advertising budget. Another circle of causality is being influenced now. The operations department will have consequences also. As sales and profits increase, operations will be forced to stock up with greater stocks or inventory, which will create a need for additional warehouse space. Building a warehouse will cause a delay in stocking up, and then when the warehouse is built, there will be a need to hire new people, which then adds to company cost in terms of salary and other benefits, which will reduce profits. Careful planning is needed to oversee and allocate resources to warehousing as well as to advertising to ensure stable increases in sales and profits. Without careful analysis and understanding of the system causality, managers may fail to understand why increasing advertising budgets could cause inventory delays and temporary reduction of profits. Another recent trend is the contingency view. What works in one setting might not work in another. Contingency means that one thing depends on other things. A manager's response to a situation depends on identifying key contingencies in an organizational situation. Therefore, one organization cannot decide on implementing only a single management style. Rather, management must consider different situations and scenarios and then implement the appropriate management styles. Managing the new technology-driven workplace. Big data analytics refers to technologies, skills, and processes for searching and examining massive, complex sets of data to uncover hidden patterns and correlations. The study of correlations have helped managers determine what is the best management style to apply in relation to a certain pattern of behavior that could produce the best results and outputs from employees. Supply chain management refers to managing the sequence of suppliers and purchasers and covers all stages of processing, from obtaining raw materials to distributing finished goods to consumers. We will be talking more about supply chain management in the later part of our course. Managing the new people-driven workplace. The bossless workplace is trending nowadays, wherein nobody gives orders and nobody takes them. Accountability is to the customer and the team rather than to a manager. Using engagement to manage millennials. Employee engagement means that people are emotionally involved in their jobs and are satisfied with their work conditions, contribute to meeting goals, and feel a sense of belonging and commitment. Is social business the answer? This has been the historical struggle. Social business refers to using social media technologies for interacting with and facilitating communication and collaboration among employees, customers, and other stakeholders. Social media programs include company online community pages, wikis, social media sites, video channels, microblogging platforms, and company online forums. According to Leslie Gaines, social media is no longer the wave of the future. It is already a state-of-the-art leadership tool that surpasses many traditional approaches to listening and communicating with stakeholders. This is the end of Chapter 1, Part 2, The World of Innovative Management.